Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Hello and good evening?
Or something like that, or whatever comes
Ooh,
first.
yes, exactly. So whenever you're watching this, good to you, and welcome to the show. I am first off noticing, because we do this live when we record it, but we don't always broadcast it
Yeah.
live. So this is as live, but regular viewers might notice that Steve's not wearing a jacket, which I've given up the jacket a while ago, regardless of whether we're live or not. Steve, you have gone jacketless, so I'm guessing this is pre-recorded.
I'm guessing it's pre-recorded as well. I don't know why you have
Yes.
to guess. Were you not here earlier when we pre-recorded it?
Oh, that's right. I was. I forgot what I did earlier today.
It's easy
Yeah.
to do.
So.
Also, because this is the new improved shed and all that, it's still a
Mm.
shed on one of the hottest days. Very hot. Very hot in here. And
So you're not that committed to the cause.
well, also, sometimes I wear the tie and jacket because I like the look. And if I'm if I'm going to do a joke that's so good, I take it as a clip and put it on TikTok. I think, oh, I'd like to look good for that. And I know what material I'm doing today. So we don't need to worry about those jokes being good enough. Why put a jacket on for this material?
You're doing material today?
Well, not so much.
Well, before we get stuck in, welcome to the show. If you've not been here before, we're going to solve all of the world's problems. That's what we do and have been doing for a while, and the world has really gotten better for it. That's the first joke. If you enjoy what we're doing, I have to do a big shout out because we had the Ko-fi link there where you can contribute to the cause. And we had a very lovely donation from Tom, a viewer this week. So thank you to Tom for supporting the show. And if people want to also be like Tom, they can support the show via our Ko-fi link. And that brings us back to do it live at one stage, live, whether it's done live. So yeah, we appreciate that. And thank you.
And it's scrolling beneath is the Twitter, the place where you could make a bit of a small donation would be very appreciated. Obviously, a large one would be even more appreciated.
Oh,
and other stuff. Oh, the YouTube's down there as well. Spread it. Tell the world. The boys are back in town, or actually here. Ooh, earlier.
Spread it. I feel like that's going to lead into our first story. Somebody's been spreading it.
Well, indeed, we can get stuck into that. If you'd like to... so bearing in mind that we are dealing with news stories, here's one that I think we have to deal with. The scandal of Chris Pincher, who was accused of groping men. Now we need to deal with the issue of his name. I mean, it's a joke that writes itself. The only way the joke would write itself more is if his name was Richard. Like, that's the only way you'd be like, I'm not needed here. He's lived up to his name. Obviously, there's some scandal about whether Boris knew what was happening before. And it's claimed that Boris said of him, Pincher by name, Pincher by nature. And then he claimed he didn't know. It's a really weird joke to make if you didn't think, if it's not based on the rumor that he's a bit of a gropey person.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? If you think it's Pincher that means something else, move him to the Treasury. At least he could help to cut back costs. But no, so apparently, and it's just like, is Boris ever going to be in a position to take the moral high ground and say, I need to get rid of you because of how you have behaved?
Yeah.
Imagine. But then again, maybe he could, because if he was being a hypocrite, that's also baked in as well, isn't it? That would definitely help. But we do need to worry about this idea that if the name of a person tells us that much about what they're like, a la Pincher, we might need to worry about some other people. For example, Dominic Cummings. I mean, there's a scandal there that's going to come out and get sponsored by Bleach. Matt Hancock, again, we should have seen what was going to happen there.
That was clear.
All very clear. I've gone through a few more politicians just to work out what they're probably like based on this same system of the name of the politician tells us what they get up to. We have so Jeffrey Cox. He's going to get in trouble. The Peter Bottomley. At least we know exactly what kind of stuff he's into. You have to worry about Peter Bone.
Bone by name. All the Peters.
All the Peters. And if he's trying to bone, I know exactly what she's going to do when he starts. So we're fully up to date with, and I stopped at B's. Have you noticed? There's a C in there for Cox, but I thought of that already. I went through, I'll read the names of all of the MPs in the House. It's 600.
Yeah, it's a lot. I do actually, because you might remember from my 2014 show, I think it was I had a whole bit about Anthony Weiner, the American politician that regularly exposed himself. Again, Wiener by name, Wiener by nature. And I think I did a similar thing of going through either the House of Representatives or the Parliament at the time, saying, does the name, fit the crime, fit the bill?
You get further than B.
I don't remember. It's in the lost decades now. The show exists somewhere. But those were the days. I mean, I had because there was a great bit where Anthony Weiner was marching in a parade. Because we'll talk about parades in a second. In America, and people were it was gay pride, and he's not gay, even in spite of the name. And people were chanting "Wiener, Wiener, Wiener."
And I suppose the comment is, were they chanting that about him, or just that's what they do?
Yeah, that's got to be the hard part. Are they chanting your name because they support you, or because they've seen your
or just because it's pride?
Or just because it's pride. That's a tricky one for a politician, but I didn't care, I mean, Johnson's gone along with Johnson, clearly. So it just fits with what are we going to get from Starmer?
It's not even a word, is it? No one knows what that means. Although Angela Rayner, pictured it. That's what happened there. I pictured it, and I could have been gone all day.
Yep. Let's just skip that, shall we? So, well, I would normally be saying Happy 4th of July not to you, but to other people, since we had the 4th of July this week in the United States, where I think the 4th of July is the celebration that Britain has, that they got rid of America.
Yeah, it is these days. Yeah.
These days it is, because this happened on the 4th of July. Tragically, a 4th of July rooftop shooting killed 6 in Chicago suburb. And so it's just one of 300 mass shootings in the United States this year. So, I mean, there's not a lot of funny to be made of this, because it is just the way America is. The governor of the state of Illinois, where this happened, made a point that when the Second Amendment that these gun nuts cling to was written, the type of weapon that they were talking about was a musket. Now, a musket takes around 20 seconds to reload, right? So you're looking at maybe 2 or 3 bullets. I don't even know if there were bullets back then, whatever the muskets shot out, to fire off. Now, with the AR-15, which is the mass shooter's gun of choice, because there's a range to choose from, they can do 40 bullets a minute versus 3 musket shots. And I'm going to guess that they weren't very accurate, because I think they just were out, is how the guns were fired back then. But then you can get a bump stock, and you can do 400 rounds per minute. Now, remember, the AR-15 is used for hunting, and it's very important to teach Bambi a fucking lesson. And if you use the AR-15, you don't have to worry about cutting off Bambi's head, because you can just shoot it with enough bullets, its head will fall off.
Yeah. I mean, how tough? The big question here is, how tough are animals in America if that's what you need to hunt with?
Yes, to be fair, we do have things more than badgers, which I will maintain badgers don't exist. I've never seen one in 22 years. I think they're a fictitious creature like the Welsh unicorn. Dragon. Welsh is dragon, isn't it?
Yeah, Scotland's unicorn.
England's the lion. So they're all imaginary animals in this country. But yeah, I mean, we do have significant beasts in the United States.
But not to that level. I mean, you've got bears, but you don't have bears with armor, with Kevlar. Now, if you had bears who could also fire back, then you would need to have some sort of bump stock type thing.
Yeah.
To try and if you could get into some sort of trench-based warfare with these animals, there'd be a good reason. I suppose we are pretending that your people only have guns for hunting, and it's not that you love your guns in case you need to rise up against the government.
Yes, that's right. And it's not like the government has tanks, helicopters, and nuclear weapons.
Well, that's why we should be allowed to have nuclear weapons.
I despair.
Yeah, but there's got to be some people in America who think, wait a minute, the government has nuclear weapons. I should be allowed one of those in my backyard next to my guitar.
I mean, when you say we don't have we do have Bigfoot in America, so that is a problem.
Yeah, not wearing Kevlar. Like, if it was Bigfoot versus you and a musket, you've still got the advantage. And actually, I see the point you're making about a musket. It's difficult to reload. It's 3 a minute. You say you could still do a mass shooting because people in America are getting bigger, which means they are easier to hit and slower to move. So at some stage, those two graphs will intersect, and you could still do a mass shooting at that rate.
I think we're getting very close to that day.
It is bizarre, isn't it, that you're so obsessed. I know we've said it on this very show before, but it's a point that has stuck with me. It's because guns were around when your nation was founded that you kind of
Yeah.
sewed it in. And this is why we don't really have it. Like, if a nation was founded in the 90s, you would have a constitutional right to a Tamagotchi. It's
Yeah.
just so important. And I think there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, this week, or was it last week, there was another shoot. It was this week. There was a shooting in another country, which actually was like the first they've had in 30 years, which is
Correct.
not like, what was it, over 300, and we're in July.
300 this year alone. Yeah.
2 a day, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Ooh, they're not even getting it right. When people would say, oh, it's becoming a daily occurrence. No. If it were a daily occurrence, thousands of lives would be saved.
Well, the thing is, I mean, people are dying from guns every day. It's just that it's not a mass shooting every day.
Yeah.
That's the difference. So, I mean, there's gunshots every day, gun deaths constantly. I mean, the thing is, with the last shooting that was at a school, they said part of the problem was that a door was left unlocked. So they needed to have locked doors. This particular shooting, the guy was on a rooftop and there was a ladder leading up to the roof. So we need to just get rid of doors, ladders, potentially any windows that you might shoot through. This was at a parade. So if we can protect the parades, the movie theaters, the malls, the schools, I mean, the safest place for a baby is obviously in a woman's womb.
Yeah, keep it in there for a while.
Yeah,
I mean,
and if you give that baby a gun in the womb,
sorts it out. I mean, you say that the problem is ladders, but I think the only thing that can stop a bad man with a ladder is a good man with a ladder. That makes sense?
Oh, totally makes sense.
No one ever does that about here. Like, because I watched a clip recently where someone was saying, "Oh, in the UK, we don't have this level of shootings," and someone said, "Oh, you got knife crime, you get mass stabbings." Mass stabbing? No, don't get me wrong. Anyone being stabbed is wrong, but to try and get the numbers, you'd really have to form an orderly queue. But the idea that we've got the problems of knives in the UK, no one ever says, you know what, with this knife problem we've got, the only thing that can stop a bad guy with a knife is a good guy with a knife. It's the opposite. The whole narrative is don't take a knife because it's more likely to escalate things. And yet in America, everyone needs guns. Even the guns need guns.
Yeah.
A side piece. Delightful.
A little bit of a bumper.
Well, let's bring it back to, oh, by the way, on this happy note, let's say you can always chuck some money in the Ko-fi now that we're having fun. There you go, pay for this entertainment. Front page, oh, I banged the microphone. Front page of one of our national newspapers, we go to the Daily Star, and this is a cost of living crisis problem. Hard up smokers are turning to fake fags filled with insect eggs, fungi, and even poo. And here's the question I've got about that. Who worked out that you can smoke poo? Because, I mean, you wouldn't look at that and think, I wonder if I can smoke that. Is that anything like tobacco? I mean, the phrase roll your own means a very different thing now. But who worked out that, yeah, chuck a little bit of poo in that? I know with other drugs, you cut powders with other white powders, but poo never looks like tobacco, does it? But the point that actually, as much as we could sit here and go, isn't it terrible, people are having to smoke poo, they're probably better off. Because if you smoke like tobacco, nicotine, all those carcinogens that come in, all of that stuff, you keep getting all the lung cancer. At the moment, there's no research that tells us that smoking poo is bad for your health. So maybe you should switch. I mean, vaping is also linked to some rates of cancer, apparently. And also, what phrase would it be? Instead of vaping, if you have to go into your own bottom and excavate poo, gaping? So this new range of gaping, I say we should tell people to do that, and that would really cut back on smoking.
That's good. I mean, I'm not surprised by that because I think we all know the phrase, that is some good shit.
Hey, there it is. Beautiful. I wonder if, with vaping, you get different fragrances. I wonder if you change your diet, you get a different smoke. You're going through a lot of sweet corn.
Is that an asparagus cigarette?
Asparagus more changes the wee, doesn't it? Don't wee on your cigarette. That'd be ridiculous, Eric.
Why is your cigarette red? It's some beetroot.
You want to go to the doctors and get that checked out. I'm smoking red over here.
Always a little bit of panic after you have the beetroot.
Yeah, because you forget. Because no one remembers. You should put a Post-it note on the back of the bathroom door that as you sit down and go, beetroot.
Bleeding.
In fact, we should sell Post-it notes with I ate beetroot written on them and sell them because we need to get into the world of merch. We never got around to doing this. And
that's not blood. It's beetroot.
Just have that Post-it noted on the back of the toilet door.
I think we've got a new catchphrase.
It's not blood. It's beetroot.
Beetroot. Well, moving on to something that's we've got another story that's exotic as well. Almost as exotic as a bloody stool. I know we should probably be careful. I don't know if we have to change our rating on YouTube for talking about things like this, but I saw this story and I was just too hot to handle. Pentaquarks. Scientists find new exotic configurations of quarks. And saucy, isn't it? Saucy. Quark.
They say new configurations, but I'm thinking positions.
Exactly. And we've got a picture of the positions now. Children, look away. Here they are. That's, I think, the one on the left. But it does say there at the bottom, exotic states of matter exist for less than a blink of an eye, which is often longer than, just that blink of an eye. Sorry, sweetheart. Try again next month. But apparently, I know I picked this story because I know you're into your science. And, I studied quarks when I was at drama school. I mean, I didn't study them. I just became one. Right. But not an exotic one. I didn't go to that kind of university. But yeah, I mean, apparently with the Large Hadron Collider, they're doing an upgrade of that. And pretty soon they're going to be doing 6 quarks bound together. The last time I saw something like that was at a car park off the A3. But yeah, I don't know what quarks do or what they're for or anything else, but I just saw the word exotic. So
you know what? Looking at how exotic that is, no wonder that other quark is up. Now that is a joke, which I'm sure you got.
I didn't understand that. Are they like positive and negative thingies?
There's up, down, strange. There's loads of. They've got weird words to describe. Yeah, there's a strange one.
Is it like the hokey cokey? You take your left quark in, you take your left quark out.
The Doctor Strange style quark. And then you put these quarks together in different configurations to give us subatomic particles like protons, neutrons, leptons, which would be electrons, and all that kind of nonsense.
See, when you start saying that, it sounds less exotic.
Doesn't it? Love the idea that you went to drama school and did something exotic. Let's be honest, a lot of people who go to drama school end up doing something exotic. And yeah, although let's just look at that picture again. Where is it?
Yeah. Do you know which one is exotic?
No, I'm just more shocked by the fact that none of them seem to have 5 in there. And if there's one thing I expected from Pentaquark, this cost of living crisis is ridiculous. It's cutbacks everywhere.
Is it one big one with 4 little ones inside it?
No, I don't think so. I think it's the combination of the quarks make a thing. I must admit, you sent me this story earlier on, and I didn't read it, which is, this really could have helped out if I would have read the quark story. But the kid was crying all over the place, and
Yep, that's why children destroy science.
That is true. But yeah, they're just particles. The what would be elementary particles, but the word elementary is terrible because it means that you can't break it down to anything smaller. But obviously, there's a theory that these particles are made of strings anyway, so you can always come up with some theory that things are made up of other things. The word elementary just shouldn't even be used anymore. But yeah, there's. In fact, I can find out all the different types of quarks for you. See if you can. I'm trying to work out which ones.
When you say theory, is this like a conspiracy, like flat Earth kind of theory? Is that what this is?
The theory of gravity, like theory being like the top level of how a hypothesis gets proved and becomes a theory.
Although I shouldn't mention the flat thing because that's a trigger word for YouTube. So.
But we get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go through some of the different types of. Well, so there's the up, the top. And there's the bottom. And what's important about the top quark is that the top quark is in charge and the bottom isn't. But sometimes you get some quarks that try and top from the bottom.
Yeah.
And no, wait a minute. I'm on the wrong page. That's not what we're meant to be looking at.
Were you trying to look up tractors?
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah. So the standard model of elementary particles, you've got your up and down, your charm and strange, as if somehow the opposite of strange is charm. Maybe it is. I would have said the opposite of charm is like loner, but if there was a loner quark, it'd be the one on top of a roof picking off people. The top, the bottom, you got a gluon, a Higgs, of course. This is the new column turning up, being like, "Oh, hi guys, I'm more impressive." The photon, the Z boson, and the W boson. The tau, the tau neutrinon, the muon neutrino, and the electron, and an electron neutrino.
That's more than 5.
Yeah. I think the penta is just that it's organized. I really should have read the story.
If you donate to the show, we'll have time to read the stories before we talk about them. I mean, I did read the story because it was my story, but I didn't understand it.
Earlier on when I said that quarks make up electrons, no, they don't make up leptons. Leptons are separate to quarks. Quarks make up protons, neutrons, all that pile of rubbish.
And photons?
Yes. If you get the correct organization of quarks, you make a photon.
Okay. I get it now.
Yeah. And if you get enough together, you make the zootons. And if you listen very carefully, because they're very small, you can hear them singing, Valerie. We're up to date.
We haven't had a science story for a while.
Good a while. You're the one who brought it. Meanwhile, I just keep ducking into the tabloids, the Daily Star. And for this one, I'm going upmarket. The Daily Mirror tells us that here's the woman. It says, Mum overjoyed as eggs she bought in Morrison's hatch into adorable pet ducklings. I saw that and thought, I do hope she doesn't think she's a mum now because of this. You see some people who, they like that dog too much. That dog is a replacement child. For her, it's like, no, these are my babies. They're not. I mean, if they are, I want to see the dad. It's Howard the Duck. But anyway, let's find out how this story happened. Deza, 31-year-old lady from Redcar, Yorkshire, bought 6 of these type of eggs. No one can be bothered to read all that. At Morrison's, put them in an incubator that she bought on Amazon to breed budgies. And it is weird that they actually grow into ducks. Do you not think it's weird? I thought they would have been irradiated or never fertilized or something. Getting ducks out of this.
Wow. I mean, I do like Peking duck.
Yeah.
So that's a nice way to do it. I mean, it's a long haul to get there because you can just buy the packages.
Well, let's look at the ducks. And this is it. If you look at those and you realize, you give them a while, they will grow. This is probably a Martin Lewis style money-saving tip thing, isn't it? Because if you can't afford duck these days, what was with the cost of living crisis? But if you buy Morrison's eggs, warm them up for a while, next thing you know, duck à l'orange.
Can you use the microwave instead of an incubator?
Yeah. Why not? Give it a go.
Especially if you want to keep the ducks warm.
Yeah. But then I thought, okay, this is a brilliant move. This is how I can get fancy meats that I can't afford because people aren't doing enough Kofi. So instead, I'll just be buying the eggs and growing them. And where can you develop them? Where do you keep them? Where do they sleep so that they are warm and they can grow into proper ducks? And we have a picture of where she lets them nest. Well, I guess I won't be doing that then. That's harsh for the bald people in society. Oh, I guess we don't get ducks. Thank you, Morrison's.
Well, it depends on how the hair's growing on other parts of your body.
Have a look again. Yeah, no, that's true. I could do that. Yeah. That's a yeah. I mean, you're up to date with that, but it's just the weird things that people do that get in newspapers. This is how we should be promoting this show. I didn't realize we could have just bought some eggs and just let them heat up.
We would get more views if we just did a video about our Morrison's eggs becoming ducks. You know that, don't you?
Do you know there was a story about this, very similar to this, in 2008 or whenever I'd moved to Wiltshire to go and do the breakfast show. And one of the first ideas I came up with on the breakfast show was we buy eggs and we see if they hatch. And I made a jingle, egg watch. And every day at breakfast, we crossed over and went, nope, nothing yet. Did that for months. That was the same joke. Like, oh, can you write jokes, Steve? I can write one joke and we could do it many times. Egg watch.
That was the heyday.
They
never hatched.
No, they never hatched because we looked into it. And if you buy just normal chicken eggs, then they're not likely to hatch because they're not fertilized.
Duck eggs.
That's what I mean. I didn't realize. I thought the same would have been true about ducks. I could have stupidly thought, let's do this as a prank. And the next thing I have to raise 6 flipping ducks.
You're a father of 6.
Because that's the thing. They imprint on you, don't they? As soon as they come out of their shell, not in that way. They look at you and they imprint and go like, Mama. And they think you're the mum, and you have to breastfeed ducks.
They really imprint on you when you eat them later.
It repeats on you.
Oh, dear. Right. Well, we're nearly at the end of our time. We should be back next week.
Yeah.
I think we might be taking a little bit of a summer holiday because I'm going to be in America. I'm going to be in America.
I know we just can't do the timing, but we should do one with you live in America. I mean, not live because we pre-record them these days, but
we could try. I could submit because we were doing your BBC. Kent Shaw used to do reports from America.
Yeah,
back in the day. All these shows we've done. All these
Yeah.
shows. And look where we are now.
I mean, every single radio station I've worked on has been shut down, other than the BBC ones, which are artificially propped up by the license fee. So, yep. Well, that's not true. We did a show on Fubar, and that's not been closed down.
That's true.
Somehow it's still operating just online, just to the 3 people who listen or something. But
we should go back to them.
Yep. But other than that, genuinely, when we did the Love Sports show, and I was like, well, it's not true anymore. We did a show on Love Sports. Nope, that closed down. Good. All right.
So if you're looking to close down a radio station, hire us.
They're available at very good prices. So yeah, anything else coming up of interest?
Nope. Not really. My podcast is going to get relaunched again in the autumn in time for the midterms, so keep an eye out for that. We'll be back with some of our previous guests and some new guests as well, but it's coming back from the last week of August.
When you say relaunched again, does that mean it's been relaunched in the past?
Well, it's been paused without an official relaunch, but this is an official relaunch. Oh. So before we've just had breaks, but this has been, it's been a long break. It's been since like February, so that counts as it's a new series, I think is the way to say it.
We're doing it. And
yeah,
I mean, there are podcasts available of the radio show that I do in the afternoons in Essex, so you can just track me down on social media for those. And that, thankfully, because things have changed, I now do the show from the shed. I've got the radio microphone kit over this side, and because it's a shorter show, those podcasts don't take long to listen to. I will say that is the best thing. If you've got a spare 11 minutes, I could sort you out in and out. Bosh, you're off home. So that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's longer than Exotic Quark.
Yeah, they don't hang around for long. Yeah. You can also watch Ministry of Offense. We've got the rest of the series. I think it runs on until August or something. And then apparently end of August, early September, there'll be some MASH talk. We're talking MASH.
Nice.
The TV show, but if not, I'll just sit here eating carbs. They didn't hire me anymore. Just ironically cramming mashed potatoes into my face.
Like in Close Encounters of the Third Kind when he builds that mashed potato mountain. Remember that?
No. I don't think I've ever seen that.
He builds Devil's Tower in America out of mashed potatoes. Richard Dreyfuss.
Right. Wow. Too much like a cookery show. That's probably why I've never watched that film.
There we go.
Steady cook. No need for it, is there?
Well, so we are off. We will see you again when we see you. If, not next Tuesday, the next Tuesday after that.
Whatever comes first.
There we go. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you for watching this from Comic Solving Problems.
And if you feel like it, go ahead and like the video.
Or subscribe. Commitment.